Everybody, how y'all doing today? Welcome back to my channel, and we're getting ready to work on the autumn gnome. And I have to excuse me because I'm kind of still in a process of setting up. Here we go. What else do I need? I think that's it. Anyhow, we're going to work on this autumn gnome, and I've got a lot of fill-ins that I need to do, as you can see. So we got a few here and there. It's not a whole lot. It's a few. Okay. So we're going to work on this today. Number 19. 3064. 3064. Well, I just got off the phone with my carrier for my phone, and I had to order a new phone. And so I got a new one, and it should be here in about 4 or 5 days. And because my other one is literally almost to the point of biting the dust. But, it's 3.5, 4 years old, so, it's about time to replace it. And then this new one, I can upgrade it to I can upgrade it up to 1 terabyte. Okay, so which is I probably will do. And the reason I will is because of doing, coming up with a lot of content and doing a lot of videos. It eats up a lot of your memory and stuff. Even though you clean out your all of your memory and all of that, it still eats up a lot of it. So I decided to get a new one. And then I guess I'm gonna get on Amazon and get one of them SIM cards, I guess, micro SIM card or whatever, and boost it up to like 1 terabyte, which will help a lot because I use my phone a lot, more so than anything. Yeah, here we go. And what we're working on is the letter N right now. I'm hoping you can see this all right, because I'm kind of like right in here right now. And so I'm trying to fill in all of these spots that I missed, right, or I skipped. And and we'll just keep doing that, and we'll just chit chat here a little bit, you know. So yeah, I worked on several other ones. I worked on Mary, which is Our Lady of Heaven. Worked on that one, and then I worked on the wolves. I pulled that one out and worked on that one for about an hour or so. And then what else did I work on? I can't remember. I've worked on a bunch of different ones. Whoops, sorry about that. And so I thought I'd try to work on this one a little bit. Try to give everybody a little bit of love, right? That's kind of what we're doing. Yep. Oh, sorry about that. I had to reach for my coffee. And anyhow, so I so that's what I did. That's what I've done in the last day or so. And then let's see, what else have I done? I did some cross stitch, of course. I always do that. I do that mostly at night. I take and do my cross stitch late at night. Yeah, I've been having trouble with the sleeping. Not that sleeping. I'm actually having trouble staying awake. That's bad, isn't it? And so anyhow, so I think we're done with that one. So let's put this one back in the doohickey. Come on. And every time I sit down, I sit still for the least little bit, I end up falling asleep. And that, which is not good. You know, I keep turning the light off. Sorry about that. I keep bumping the light. Okay, let's see. What else? What have we got down here? I got some sevens right here. Let's do some number 7, which is 720. 720. So anyway, so I should be getting my new phone here in a few days. Get that set up. Oop, get over there. And work on that. Get that all set up so I can use it. There's some more 7s right over here. Yeah. And so that's what I did this morning. Yeah. Yeah, I kept the same phone number and all and the same plan. I just needed a new phone. That's all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I've got to get on the ball here and get um, check out StreamYard. Sorry about that again. I keep bumping it. I'm going to have to probably turn it around. Oop, get over here. And get on StreamYard and check it out and see about working on trying to do some lives. Hang on, I'm going to switch this over, okay? So just hang on a second. Sorry about that. Don't get sick. What I'm going to do is I'm switching it over so that way I don't keep turning the thing off. Yeah. Turn this around. Like so. I think that'll do a little bit better. Because that way I'm not turning the light off every time I turn around. Yeah. Alrighty, I think I've got the 7s. I don't see any more. Yep, I do. Yes, I do. There's one right there. And so I hope everyone's doing good. You know, I know right today it's kind of damp and rainy, so it's always something, right, with the weather. Turn that over like so. And so I've got the the heater running on low. And that way it takes the dampness out of the air. Oh, there's one right there. Like I said, they're kind of scattered. And anyhow. Yeah, when you're diamond paint, sometimes you end up skipping them because, it's not what you're working on or whatever. And so you end up having to come back and fill them back in. And that's basically what we're doing. We're filling things in. Okay. I think I'm going to get a different pen, though. I think I'm not very comfortable with this one. I was using that one the other day because it has a three placer. And that's what I was using. Let's see. Let me have this one, I think. Yeah. And, yeah, I think I'm more comfortable with this one. Yeah. And, hang on, I'm going to grab me a sip of coffee. I'm using my cup that has Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Yep, that's the cup I'm using right now. Alrighty, let's use J. J is 842. 842 right there. Yeah. Oh, got a little hitchhiker right there. And so anyway, so I've been trying not to use any music on my videos because every time I turn around, I'm getting that copyright thing going. So I'm just not going to use any music at all. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, they're scattered all over the place. My method to my madness here, okay, is that I want to get all the way across a straight line, all the way across. Then I can flip this thing over and get it done and finish it. You know, I know I've been having trouble with my sinuses big time the last couple of days. That's why I didn't do a video yesterday. I got busy, and then on top of that, I kept sneezing my head off. Every time I turned around, I was sneezing. So I elected not to do a video yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, the phone that I'm getting is see if I remember right. It's a Samsung A16, I think. And it's basically a lot like what I've got. It's just got, it is upgradable, so I'm going to get a SIM card and upgrade it. And that way I got plenty of memory and stuff. Yeah. Because right now, the one I'm using right now is a Motorola, and it's been a good phone. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but it's running out of operating space or whatever. And even with me, you know, deleting everything off and removing stuff, it's still, you know, it's not completely empty of memory. It's just it's not got a whole lot to it. I think I've got like, I don't know, like 58% of it's used, even with me taking and deleting all of the videos off of it that I do. It's still only, I've still only got like 44% uh, that I can use. So something like that. So I decided to upgrade my phone a little bit. And I mean, yeah, come on, it's 4 or 5 years old now. I've had it a while. And so it's due for an upgrade, you might say. And so that'll work out. I'll just have to learn how to use it all over again. That's all, because it's a newer model, so, and they always have, you know, other little quirks and stuff. Each one has their own little things that you have to figure out. So anyhow, yeah, we're getting there. So little by little. Let's see, I got 1C. Can you believe that? 1C right there. That's all right. Let's see, number 10, which is 742. Yeah, what I've been trying to do is that's why I've been working on a lot of these ones that I've got, otherwise known as WIPs. That's why I've been working on these, is trying to get them out of the way, so I don't have them sitting there waiting to be worked on. And so just trying to get them cleared out, so that way I don't have to start any new ones. I want to finish these first before I start any more. So that's why I haven't done a lot of cross stitch. Not a lot, a little bit, but not much. Not like I usually do. And so yeah, I'm way over here, aren't I? Let me raise you up a little bit. There we go. There. And so anyhow, get off of there. Yeah, I ordered some stuff from Amazon. All right, and it should be coming in the next day or two. And then I got a Temu order in yesterday, and I got I reordered that diamond painting that resembles that Trinity diamond paint with the lion, the lamb, and the dove. Well, anyway, it resembles that, and I reordered that because the first one they sent me, I ended up with the wrong drills. So I got a reimbursement on it, and then I reordered another one, but a little bit bigger size, hoping that they'll send me the right drills. Well, I got it in yesterday, and yes, it does have the right drills. Thank goodness. So I'm going to be able to work on that pretty soon. And so anyhow, Yeah, it's one of the budget-friendly ones. It kind of, I think it's not. I don't think it's exact, but it reminds me of that one that um, I can't remember who did it, but well, I know. I think Star did it, and um, I think Miss Linda also worked on that same painting, and I really, really like that painting, and that's why when I ran across it at Timu, I went ahead and grabbed it. I said, "Oh, good, I'm gonna get that one." So the original one, right, was a 40 by 40, I think, and the one that I just got, that I just reordered and just got, is a 50 by 50. But it is a real. I just like that particular painting. I always have, and so I went ahead and ordered it. Mm. And then I got a whole bunch of stickers in. I didn't realize I ordered so many stickers, to be honest with you. But anyway, so I'm not going to go through them. It's just a lot of stickers, a lot of different ones. A lot of them are vintage looking, that kind of stuff. So what do we want to work on? How about Y? Yeah, Y. That is 3866. 3866. And so anyhow, so that's basically what I've got going on. A lot of the orders that I've ordered weeks ago are now finally starting to come in. So anyhow, yeah. Looking to see any more. I'm looking for more E and Y's, but I don't see any. Thought there was more of them out here, but there's not. All right, there's one right there. And so anyway, so that's what's going on here. Yeah, I got my Walmart grocery order in this morning. It got here about almost 11. So, and so I got a few goodies, other than the just your standard regular groceries. I got a few little goodies there. I bought some cake mixes because I get Missy to make some cakes. I got one cake that I ordered. All right, it's a red velvet cake that my daughter, it's one of her favorites. And so I got that for her. So that way she can have a red velvet cake. And then, oh, come on. There we go. And so I may try to bake her that cake sometime, maybe this weekend. Yeah. Because we're almost to the weekend anyway, so I think that's it on Y's. And then I also got another one, is a carrot cake. I like carrot cake. Oop. And then I got another cake. It's a lemon supreme cake. And what we do with those is we take and we add a little extra lemon juice to it. And that way it gets a really good lemon flavor to it. Yeah, because me and my daughter both, that's one of our favorites, is the lemon cake. And come on, get off of there. And so anyway, so get over here. I don't like wasting because you never know, you might not have enough. Okay, and then let's see what number. Let's see. All right, number 6. 666. I need one of the things. I'm going to take it right out of the pot. Get over there. Where was it? All right, where'd you go? I just saw it. Now where'd it go? Ah, there it is. Right there. Sometimes I just take it right out of the pot rather than digging the whole thing out. All right, let's do K, number 17, which is 902. 902. There we go. And so anyway, so I'll probably bake her that cake maybe this weekend. And that way she can have her, red velvet cake. Yeah, she likes the red velvet for some reason. I do too. It's okay. I mean, it's not, it's not all-time favorite, but it's okay. It's cake. It's good. Now my all-time favorite is a carrot cake, right? And then what we do is I add some nuts to it, like walnuts or something, or pecans. Oh my goodness. Now that makes it really good. Yeah, just a handful of nuts to the batter. And I tell you what, it improves it 100%. And then we'll shred up some carrots, not a lot, just a few, and throw that in extra. And so by the time you get done with it, it's like a homemade bakery style type cake, which is nice. We always take and we kind of add a little to the mixes, and that way it gives it a little bit more character. I used to bake a lot of the banana nut bread. I used to bake it from scratch though, and it's been a while since I did that. But I would take and put the banana nut bread together with the walnuts, and then I would take and I would bake it, and just before it's done, right, I would sprinkle some sliced almonds on top, on top of it. Oh my goodness, that makes it so good. And because you do that, sprinkling the sliced almonds on it, I tell you what, most people think you bought it from a bakery. you know. And I used to do that a lot. When I used to go to church and we'd have those get-togethers, the meals. I used to make a big old pot of chili, and then I'd make 3 loaves of banana nut bread for dessert, and that would be my contribution to the homecoming or whatever you want to call it. And so, but it's been a while since I've done that. Mhm. I remember one time we were supposed to go to some kind of a benefit for somebody, and my I volunteered to make chili, right? And I also volunteered to make some kind of dessert, right? And anyway, I was in the process. I got the chili all done, and I was in a process of packing it up and getting ready to leave, right? And realized that I had forgot about the cake, right? The dessert. So I looked in the pantry, and I did not have a cake mix at all. Nothing. Right? And I'm going, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? So I pulled out some flour and all the things that go with it, and chopped up and grated up a couple of apples, and put some applesauce in it, some cinnamon, and what else did I do? I put, and I threw a couple of handfuls of nuts in there, and I baked a bundt cake, right? Just a fast homemade bundt cake, right? And then I sprinkled it with powdered sugar, and that was the dessert. You know what? I had more people ask me for that recipe, and I didn't have a recipe for it. This is just something I just threw together, you know, and I didn't even have a recipe for it. I started pulling the ingredients out and mixing and whatnot, and boom, threw it in a bundt cake pan and made a bundt cake. And I had more people ask me, "Oh, that was such a good cake. Can you give me that recipe?" And I'm going, I don't have a recipe. And they go, "What?" And that's what I explained to them what happened. And they go, "Oh my goodness." And so, anyhow, that's my story of my last minute, spur of the moment bundt cake. But anyway, but yeah, I used to be a good cook. I used to be a really good baker. And I'm great at desserts. I love desserts. I like to make desserts. Unfortunately, I don't do that much cooking and baking anymore, because the kitchen is basically my daughter's domain. That's her place. Okay, let's see what we got. Now I got an H right here, and I got some more over here. Let's do H. Let's see, 838. 838. 838. And so anyway, so that's my story about my crazy last minute spur of the moment bundt cake. And luckily it came out pretty good. So what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. And so anyway, so that but yeah, I used to do a lot of baking and stuff like that, and go to the picnics or the get-togethers where everybody get together and have a great big meal. at the church. Yeah, I used to do that a lot. Unfortunately, I don't do it anymore. One is because uh, the church that I was going to um, is like almost 20 miles away, and I don't see any more H's. Yep, there's some right there, and unfortunately they don't. They have a van, but because of my hips and my leg, right, I'm unable to climb up into it to get into the van, and so you know my days of you know me riding the van just it's not going to happen. And I know there's other churches closer, but I don't know. I like the church I used to go to, and so anyhow, mm, I'm looking for more H's is what I'm looking for. But yeah, I used to do that a lot. I used to get involved in a lot of the get-togethers and you know the you know the food thing, and then we had a group that it was a small group that was a crafting group, and you bring your craft with you, and you can sit and just chit chat and whatnot, and have and do some crafting together. We used to have that, and then we used to have a monthly thing to where everybody, if anybody had a birthday, what we would do is everybody in the women's group would buy a towel, right, for the person's birthday, right, and everybody would buy a towel, and anyhow, you'd end up with 20 towels or whatever, and then the following month, we'd do that a couple of times, and then the next month we'd do socks. Okay, everybody buy the birthday person a pair of socks, and then we changed it up all the time, and it was fun. And it was just the ladies get together. They bring a cake or some pudding or something, and we just sit there and chit chat and whatnot and have a good old time. 3861, 3861. I got 3865. Where is three? Oh, there it is, right there. And so anyway, and so I remember one time it was on my birthday and they were doing towels that year. Oh my goodness, I must have ended up with 25 different towels, you know, which is fine because you can always use towels, right? But I did. I ended up with a big old box full of towels. So I didn't have to buy any towels for quite some time. Yeah. And then one lady, it was her birthday, and they decided to do socks that for her. And anyhow, she ended up with like 30, 35 pairs of socks. It was funny because a lot of times you can get the socks. You can get them like 3 pair of socks in a package, and so anyway, that's what happened to her. She ended up with like 30, 35 pairs of socks. It's funny, but it's fun. It was fun. Yeah. Yeah, what I'm doing is the U's right now. And let's see. I'm looking for some more. There's some. And so anyway, so that's what we used to do when I used to go to church. It was a lot of fun. And then we had Sunday school, we did Sunday school. And then we volunteered for vacation Bible school for the kids for the summer. And so it was very interesting. It was very, very active, and which is good. Well, then unfortunately, the pastor, I mean, he was an old guy, older man, but unfortunately, the pastor passed away, and they brought in this other guy, and we said, well, we'll give him a chance and just to him because he is new. Oh my goodness, nobody liked him. All right, and it wasn't his personality. Well, it was, but it wasn't. Okay. He wanted to run that church because I guess they signed a contract with him. They had to keep him for a while. And he ran that church like he was a petty dictator, right? Because a lot of people that went to that church were also preachers, okay? They were licensed, I guess you call them licensed preachers. And he wouldn't allow them to preach, you know, unless it was on the subject he wanted to talk about. Okay, he stifled the Holy Spirit basically, and nobody liked that. And so before you knew it, people were leaving. People were leaving the church, and even the previous pastor's wife decided to leave, and she'd been with that same church for 30 years. Her husband was the pastor there for about like 30 years. But when this new guy came in and he was slamming the door and locking the door on the spirit. He said, "No." A lot of people said, "Nope, we're leaving," and that's basically what happened. And that was one of my previous churches, and it took me forever to find another good church. Unfortunately, I got to the point I couldn't drive anymore, and my daughter was working the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, so I had no way to get to the church. And then they um, they had a bus service, but it was these little dinky vans that you have to climb up into, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't physically able to do it, so I ended up not going to church anymore. But I listened to the services on the internet, so I'm still getting my spiritual food. I'm just not going out and going to church. That's all. So, but I do miss going, though. I do miss going to church, you know. But anyway, let's see. What's the next one? How about G? Letter G is 832. 838. Where is 832? There it is. I got one that's 842, and then I got 742 right next to each other. There we go. And then, anyway, so let's see. Okay. Let's get organized here. I hope you'll be able to see that fairly well. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't get you any closer because I've got it to where I'm. I've got it to where the camera shot or the camera whatever is flipped around, and unfortunately, it won't let me zoom in on that particular lens uh, setup. So anyhow, the closest thing I can do is to raise and lower. Let's see if I can do it. And I can lower the tripod, and that's about the best I can do. So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to March and working on that new diamond painting, the red covered bridge. Definitely looking forward to that. And the diamond painting I've got coming in from Amazon is that one with the cherry blossoms. Yeah, I got that one that's coming in. It should be in 3 or 4 days. You know. So sometimes it'll pick up and sometimes it won't. Yeah. But I also ordered um, a new pen. It's just like this one, except for it's blue, and um, it has the really narrow neck on the bits, and so I ordered that, and it comes in a whole set. It's got the 3 placer, 4 placer. I think it's got a 6 or a 7 placer, and so it's got a lot of stuff to the kit of this to this particular pen. So unfortunately, I am a collector of these pens. I don't know why, but I am. But we're getting there. I'm trying to get all the way across, and then once I get that done, then I can flip it around and finish the rest of it. Is what I want to do. And then I've got the Our Lady of Heaven I want to try to finish. And then what else have I got? I got the leopard I want to finish. Where'd you go? I think you're going. Get over here. And then I've got the Last Supper that I'm working on. That's a square, so that's gonna take a little while. So, but we're getting there. It's coming right along. Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, the other day when we got a little bit of snow, we got about an inch and a half of snow here in Georgia. You know, it wasn't much, but it was a little bit. Took a couple of days for it to melt off, though. You know, because the temperature didn't get up very high. You know, it didn't get above 32. So it kind of lingered a little bit. You know, not so much on the highway, but definitely in the yard and stuff like that. Especially when in the yard was where the spots where it's shaded. You know. But that's all right. At least we didn't end up with a massive blizzard. Not like some folks. Some folks up further north, they got buried in snow. I mean, man, there's a lot of snow up that way. And so luckily we don't get snow very often here. Once in a while, but not very often. Yeah. I remember when I first moved up here, and the house that I was living in at the time, during the winter time, it would you would hear this horrible moaning sound, right? Couldn't for the life of me figure out what it was, and then kept listening and listening, and finally figured out what it was. It was the wind blowing around the house, and the way it was set up, I guess it would make this moaning sound, and that was one spooky sound, especially somebody coming from Florida never heard that before. And the only time you ever heard it is in the wintertime when it's extremely cold and the wind was blowing. Yeah. And so what next? How about S? I got a couple S's right there, and then I got a bunch of them right here. So let's do an S. There we go. 3772. There's 3771. Up there it is. Over here in the corner. And anyhow, so yeah, that's when I first moved up here. That was back in 1993, I think it was. Yeah. And whatnot. We moved from Florida and bought a 5-acre piece of property with a single wide trailer on it. And then, I don't know, a few years later, we used my credit and had a house built. Yep. And then after my divorce / annulment, I ended up putting it up for sale, and it was right at around 2008 when the crash on for property and stuff fell through. The housing market, that was it. The housing market kind of crashed a bit. It and it wouldn't sell. And the longer I had it, the deeper into debt I was getting because I wasn't able to pay for it. And so I ended up finally having to bankrupt on it. And so I lost my house. But it happens. I'm not the only one that happened to. A lot of people lost their homes during that period. But it is what it is, right? And then financially, I came over here and started to stay with my daughter for a little while, and financially help them out, and because they were struggling. Oh, come on. And so I came over and I stayed for a while, and then my health started going downhill, and I've been here ever since. But yeah, I bankrupt in let's see, what was it, 2011, 2010, something like that. Yeah, I think it was 2011. I finally filed for bankruptcy. And so, unfortunately, things like that happen. Oh, come on. Not wanting to pick up for some reason. But anyway, we're getting there. We got this little bit here and some S's up in here. And then it's looking good. We're getting there. We're covering it up. Yep. I got a couple of E's down in here that I need to get. But other than that, so, get some more wax. Yep, I'm going to have to fold this wax again, I think. It's getting quite a bit of holes in it. And so anyway. So yeah, we just, so I've been here at my daughter's house ever since. And what I do is I pay her rent. I pay rent to stay here, which helps them out financially. And so I pay the rent, I pay the cable bill, I pay the internet, not Netflix, the internet, pay for that for them. And what else? A couple other bills that I pay. And it kind of helps them out and it helps me out too. Now it's gotten where after the sickness that came through and the price of rent has gone through the roof, and so it's just too expensive to try to move out on your own, you know, to get a halfway decent place to live. Yeah, you know, that's not all run down or whatever. You're looking at $1,300 to $1,500 a month rent here, and I'm sorry, but I can't afford that. Nope, sorry, not going to be able to do it. That's why I'm still sitting here at my daughter's house. Luckily, we get along pretty good, so. And we share the chores and share the bills, you know, that kind of stuff. Share the grocery bills. So, we're all right, you know. Yeah. Financially, it helps her out and it helps me out too. So, yeah, these S's are all over the place. Yeah. I'm looking at the other side too. Yeah. Oh, there's one right there. And so anyway, so that is my life, shall we say. Yeah, I heard that from what Miss Linda said, the creator, was it DP in the Dakotas? I understand she passed away. That's what Miss Linda was saying. You know, I didn't really follow her that closely. I mean, I watched her on occasion, but I'm sorry to that she passed, and keep her family in our prayers, you know. But as Miss Linda says, she has gone on to be with the Lord. So, yeah. It's hard on the family when they have to let them go, but sometimes I think they're a lot better off than they are here. I mean, seriously, our environment and, and our world the way it is now is not exactly the best, shall we say. Yeah. And I know a lot of young people, they talk about not wanting to have any children, right? And you know what? I can't blame them. I mean, we had hard times when we had our kids, okay? I'm not saying we didn't, but it wasn't nothing like it is today. Today, I'd be afraid to bring kids into the world today because there's just so much evil in the world. And so I don't blame the kids for, the young people for not, saying, no, I don't want no kids. I can't blame them for that. Unfortunately, they are missing out on, wonderful experience of having children and raising them. No, I'm not saying kids are perfect, okay? Don't get me wrong. Because the kids can be a bit of a challenge, I got something on here that's not supposed to be there. What is that? Oh, it's a piece of wax sitting there. Get off. Thank you. And anyway, kids can be a real challenge when you're raising them. Because unfortunately they do not come with an instruction manual. So it's kind of a hit and miss as you try to raise them. You do the best you can and leave the rest up to God. God will take care of the rest of it. You just do the best you can. And, but anyway, yeah, the kids are, they're just not having children like they used to. And I can't blame them for that. I mean, take a look at the world around you. It's a lot of stuff in the world that is very, very evil. And, I don't have an answer or a solution to the problem. Well, yeah, I do. My answer to the problem and the solution is to put your, hang on, I gotta close my door. Is to put your faith in the Lord, and like that song is, let Jesus take the wheel. There you go. But sometimes that's all you can do. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of iffy raising kids today. I mean, things that kids have to face today it's a whole lot worse than what we ever had to deal with. Okay, I grew up I was born in the 50s and was raised up during the 60s and 70s, and we didn't have to deal with the stuff that the kids are dealing with today. And so that's why I can't blame them for not wanting to bring any children into the world. It's just, I don't know. I know when we were growing up and our moms and dads sent us off to school, we didn't have to worry too much about, any, school, the violence in the schools and things like that. You didn't have to worry about that. But I tell you what, you do now. You got a lot of people that just have completely lost their minds and running around, doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Nova, if you don't quit, get out of here. She keeps knocking the door open. I'm just pushing the door shut. I'm not even latching it. And anyhow, and so, we didn't have to deal with that when we were growing up. I mean, we had some bad stuff going on too. And we had, major drug issues and stuff going on when we were growing up. But, today, it's an entirely different kettle of fish. And unfortunately, about the only thing you can do is pray about it. Keep praying about it, and hopefully soon Jesus will come, gather all of his people up, and straighten this mess out. That's all. So that's all you can do is just keep praying about it. Stay close to God. Study your Bible. Read your Bible. Develop a close relationship with the Lord, and that's going to get you through, I think. Yeah, it looks like we just about got all the S's. Well, almost. And so I begin my day with a prayer, and reading the Bible a little bit, and what else? I think we got them all. And that's all we can really do is just draw close to God, and God will draw close to you, and just put it in the hands of the Lord, and go that route. That's all you can do, because one person all by their lonesome self is not going to fix all of these massive problems. The only one that's going to be able to fix or address all these problems is Jesus. Yeah. So there's my preaching for today. Oh, come on. There we go. Let's see. There it is, right there. Alrighty. I think we got the S's. No, we don't. We got a couple more right up there. Let's see. Let's get this one up here. Yeah. Looks like one more. Right there. Oop. Flip it over. Come on. There. Excuse me. Alrighty. I think we got them all. Well, we got quite a bit done. Well, we did. Now I'm going to keep working on this. And hopefully, maybe in a day or so, I might actually have it done. Yep. Alrighty. Well, listen, I'm going to get off here. So y'all take care. Love one another as Jesus loves you, and keep each other in your prayers. And pray for DP in Dakota's family uh, during this time period because they are going through some tough times right now. God bless you. God keep you. And we will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye bye.